Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your breakfast bankroll for March 1st, 2022. Everyone has survived the first 2 months of 2022. 10 months left, 10 months to make a difference, but today is the day. Today is the gift. We got 24 hours to make it happen. Long night here, and probably for my co-host as well, and a lot of baseball fans, as it was kind of comical as Bob Nightingale probably had a career day. I mean, the only thing we were missing was the walk-off grand slam, the mic drop, as we were anxiously awaiting, hopefully, for a deal. 16 and a half hours to be exact. They waved the white flag and they're back at it as we speak. We're supposed to start today at 11. Made a lot of headway. You would think today, they set a deadline at 5. Obviously, they can move that again. You would think something would get done. It looks like the owners have started to back off on a few things, but there's still some big hurdles to get there. But I think cooler heads will prevail. Kind of wish they would have just plowed through it last night to get it done and get it over with. Anyone that watched the closing bell last night, I talked 3 games specifically. The Leafs money line, they win 5-3. I talked about San Diego State at Wyoming money line, they win by 7. And the one game that I told you guys from the start that reeked, and it still reeks. I talked about Syracuse +9. I said, by the hook. And Syracuse was leading the whole damn game there. Whole game. And then they were down 2 with 3 seconds left. And, of course, they got to tie the game up, and it goes to overtime. And, of course, overtime is where dogs go to die. We all know that. And miraculously, UNC won by 9. So if you watch the closing bell, 2-0-1 yesterday, definitely should have been 3-0, but a great start for the week for anyone that watched and listens. Shout out to my man, Mr. Lucky, with a little pizza money on San Diego State. So let's bring on our co-host so he can give his side of the talks last night. And FYI, NBA favorites 7-0. So a few weeks back, they went on this stupid 60-10 run. Well, they were 7-0 last night. So without further avail, the man with the plan from the Palm Tree State himself, the one, the only, Mr. Scott E. Webb. Morning, Scott.
Good morning, Jeff. And just rubbing the salt on my wounds last night from the NBA because I liked every damn dog in the book last night. And they lost everything and not even close, some of them. So I'm 30, 40 points they lost by. So it happens, right?
Yeah, it's funny because I whine and vent with the best of them. And, especially losing by the hook or the Syracuse one again. You're getting 9, winning most of the whole game outright, and then, to go to OT and push. But I'm the first one that will complain that, like on Saturday, I had NC State against UNC, and the first flash I saw was 18-3. So I never once got a sniff in that game. So I don't know what's worse, 45 minutes of, back and forth action and a kick in the you-know-what, or 18-3, thanks for playing,
Yeah, I'm just moving on. How about that? Baseball was great news and lots of stuff going on yesterday. And to be honest with you, I thought they had the momentum and they were going to put the deal together last night. But I get it. They were a little bit too far apart on certain things. So because of that, it is what it is. And they're going to try to finish all that stuff up today, which is fine, whatever. My opinion is that it's done, and they're just gonna. I don't think it's one of those situations where they got to cross the T's and dot the I's and this thing's over. There's still going to be some negotiation today, but I think they're going to come away with the deal today. So So baseball is going to be fine. I don't think there's going to be any missed games, and because of that, I'm working on currently the guys that are set up to be trade. I already wrote an article about the free agents that are coming available. But everybody says, okay, we're going to get this deal done. And when the deal gets done, it's going to create this free agent frenzy, which is true. But at the same time that it's true, there's only a certain number of guys that can really impact a team to make them over the top type player. But if you then start to look at some of the guys that are going to be available in terms of trade, that starts to open the door up to a little bit more. And that's what I'm trying to put together now, is that list of players that are projected to be traded type players, like your Matt Olsons and those kind of guys that have been showing up in these trade rumors a lot. So I think there's a good combination effect here. And I think the combination effect of free agent signings, you got your Carlos Correas and those kind of guys still out there. And then you bring in your Matt Olsons and Matt Chapmans and those guys, if you can make deals for them, and then all of a sudden you can really change your team. And hence then that makes it hard for me to write a damn preview book when you got all this shit going on.
I'm going to stick with it. I don't think he gets what he wants, Correa, in that super deal. I'm just going to throw two names out, two places there. I'm going to put my stamp. I'm going to stick with this too. Correa to the Tigers, and I'm going to keep with Freeman to the Braves. Agree, disagree? I mean, I know we don't have a crystal ball or anything.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that Freddie Freeman thing. There's no reason why Freddie Freeman shouldn't be an Atlanta Brave. No reason. Other than it looks to me like the best offer is going to come from somewhere else. It's not going to be in Atlanta. So if he wants the best offer, he's not going to be an Atlanta Brave. But if he's okay with finishing out his career there, being a full length Atlanta Brave, and they'll make it worth his while to be there. It's just if he wants to go play, I don't know, just make up a team. That's like, okay, he's going to go play for, I don't know, somebody's got. Let's say the Mets decide they want to get a piece of Freddie Freeman for a while, and they offer him X amount of dollars and whatever. It's going to be more than what the Braves will. So the question then becomes: is what does Freddie Freeman really want to do? Because he's in a position where he doesn't have to prove anything to anybody. He's just a solid player every day, all the time, a great defender and super hitter. Up until last year, probably was one of the most underrated, appreciated players in all of baseball, just because of how consistent he is, and he doesn't really stir up the mix much. So my opinion on Freddie is that it's like 50-50 to me. I think there's a good chance that he'll be a Brave, but I also think there's a good chance he'll be somewhere else, only because the money will be there. It's kind of like Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw is the same kind of situation. He might sign a 1-year deal with somebody and get paid a lot of money. He's been paid a lot of money already, so he doesn't necessarily need the money. I think he's probably got maybe one more good year in him. And then he becomes, your guy like a Jake Odorizzi, not to be throwing water under the bus here, but I think that his stuff has deteriorated enough that over the next 2 or 3 years, he's going to get hit. He's got 1 year left where he can probably move the ball around and do some different things and stay consistent on what he's doing. But after that, I think Clayton Kershaw is about done.
My buddy Sean, who I sent you his book, The 700 Pages, thinks that he's damaged goods and that he needs surgery, but we'll see that. How about devil's advocate here? And this is just so hypothetical. First of all, isn't Rizzo still a free agent?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's play a funny game here. Padres. Hosmer, they wanted to get out of that contract. And I said the Red Sox desperately needed a first baseman. Even Rizzo thought he was coming to Boston, and he ends up a Yankee. Not that I wouldn't mind Rizzo or Freeman. I really would love a lefty bat there. But I said I would settle for Hosmer defensively, and I think he could help the Red Sox. But what if? Can you imagine the Padres lineup with Freddie Freeman?
Well, to be honest with you, they're not as deep as you might think they are. I mean, they've got Tatis and Machado, right? But who else do they have? They have Grisham and Cronenworth. Those are the four guys.
Cronenworth had a good year.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that those are the four guys that are good. But that's not deep like Atlanta. That's not deep like some of these teams.
No, I was suggesting top heavy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, so I'm saying that he's a perfect fit because they need a hitter. They tried Tommy Pham. It didn't work out. So Tommy Pham is a free agent, and I don't think they're interested in bringing him back. I would also tell you that they don't want Will Myers either. So they want to get rid of Will Myers' contract. They want to get rid of Hosmer's contract. So when you're starting to think about who the Padres might target, Freddie Freeman would be a perfect candidate. I think that the problem will be is that you can't just go sign Freddie Freeman without getting rid of the other two first.
I don't think the Sox will be a big player. I mean, what do I know? I mean, if you look, I'm not going to ask you if it's not in front of you, but if you look at who the hell they have picked up in the off season, it's the dregs of all dregs. It's the Michael Walkers. It's the Rich Hills. I mean, these are Band-Aids and more Band-Aids. And it's kind of disgusting when you look at it, but it only takes one to make a splash. And I'm excited. First, let's get the deal done. But I'm excited for that frenzy. And I've said all along, and I don't know this for a fact, I'm just throwing it out there. Excuse me. I think there's already been a lot of wink, wink. Don't worry. Once we settle, there's going to be a big frenzy. And I think Correa is a big start. Freeman's a big start. Some of the arms, there's not a ton of big arms there. But the fact of the matter is, again, if Freddie is going to go out and test the waters like he is, I will gladly swoop in and steal Rizzo for a couple less dollars. I think there'll be a lot of teams sitting in the weeds, hoping to maybe get a little bargain basement shopping.
Well, let's just lay it out there, right? So Carlos Correa and Freddie Freeman are the only. Well, I shouldn't say that. Carlos Correa, Freddie Freeman, and Trevor Story are the three guys that will change your team just by bringing one of those guys on. Then you have Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos, Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Michael Conforto, Jorge Soler, all kind of bunched together. And then the next tier down is like Tommy Pham, Jock Peterson, Jose Iglesias, Eddie Rosario, Andrelton Simmons, Nelson Cruz, those kind of guys. So really, there's three target guys that can hit. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to have some success out of Schwarber or out of Castellanos or whatever, but they're not the same player as those other guys are. The pitching is way different. There really isn't a starting pitcher that is of the significance. Let me pull him up. It's Carlos Rodon, and there's a good likelihood he's going to come back to the White Sox anyway. And Clayton Kershaw. Those are the two best pitchers available on free agency. And then you have guys like Yusei Kikuchi and Zach Greinke and Michael Pineda and Danny Duffy. I mean, nobody wants these guys. Well, I shouldn't say it that way. So those are going to be guys that are third on the rotation or fourth, right? So I mean, they're not going to be these guys that are the guy that makes a difference. So I think there's just a handful of free agents that are going to be the stir that stirs the drink. But if you mix in, and this is what my list looks like right now for these guys that can be traded, it's Matt Olson, it's Matt Chapman. You've got Chris Bassett, who's a really good starting pitcher for Oakland. You got Sean Manaea and Frankie Montas, and you can go get Craig Kimbrell if you want him. You got a catcher in Wilson Contreras if you want a catcher. You can probably get Sonny Gray or Luis Castillo on the mound. Byron Buxton is probably available, even though he's a young super talent. He turned down their offer on a contract. So, this is Minnesota. I don't know if they can pay him. You've got, you can always go get Eric Hosmer if you want him, but I mean, you're going to pay an arm and a leg to get him. Whit Merrifield's going to be available to somebody. Mitch Haniger's going to be available if you want to go get him. Guys like Josh Bell and Didi Gregorius. And, an interesting name that popped up on the list was Reese Hoskins. He's a young kid. He's got power, but he's got a lot of strikeout and stuff in him. So and you can go get Josh Donaldson if you wanted him. If you traded Josh Donaldson away, you could probably pay for Byron Buxton. So whatever. I mean, that's you start to do the combination of trade and free agents. Then it becomes a little bigger pool, and probably a lot more fun. And my thought would be is that if some of like the Mets, they got a big problem. Dominic Smith and J.D. Davis and Jeff McNeil are all guys that are going to struggle to find playing time because of the trades they've already made. So they need to get rid of Dominic Smith and they need to get rid of J.D. Davis, and theoretically they need to get rid of Jeff McNeil. They got a problem. What are they going to do with Robinson Cano? Because he's back. After being a year suspended, he's back. He's on their team, so it's an interesting concept. I think the Yankees get rid of Luke Voigt. I think the Yankees maybe even go to the far as get rid of Gleyber Torres. Who knows? It is what it is when it comes to some of this stuff.
Well, I'll close with this. A big cog in the late push by the Sox, Schwarber. And that's one of the guys that they had always wanted, and they got. Be kind of disappointing if they just let him, go off into the sunset. They made the asinine trade there must have been a lot more behind the scenes where they got rid of Renfroe and they bring back Jackie Bradley again. And I think, again, that's more analytics. That's, defensively now they think with Verdugo, Bradley, and I don't even know, maybe JD, DHs, and whoever they throw out in left field, that they're going to be even better in defensively. But we'll have to wait and see. Again, I don't want to put the horse in front of the cart or whatever that stupid saying is. But the fact of the matter is we just got to close this deal, get it done today. Bob Nightingale, keep it up. You're blowing away, passing in the boys. Finish strong, my brother. We need a deal done today so we can have some fun. So I'm going to pull up the board, see what we got here. Don't forget that we will be back here tonight at 4:30 to go over everything. And an NBA board, Scott, with just 6 games. Let me see here. We had a back-to-back with Brooklyn, Toronto. Isn't that something? And the Fakers, geez, how bad is LA? 5.5-point dogs today. But the board's yours. You see anything?
Well, the only thing I'm looking at right now is I find it interesting that that game with Brooklyn and Toronto is Toronto minus 8.5. I mean, they beat them by 30 yesterday, for God's sakes. But at the same time, now they're on the road, and now Kyrie Irving gets to play. I talked about it yesterday. Toronto is not that good right now. And I just think Brooklyn decided not to play yesterday. So I kind of look at it like this is a spot where, Brooklyn might decide to play today, and Kyrie Irving going to be in the lineup. So I kind of like that plus 8.5. The other one is I think Atlanta's playing good enough basketball to stay within 7 points of Boston right now. the last 14 days predicted score. Atlanta gets a lot of points right now, and and I expect them to do the same again tonight, even though Boston plays great defense. and that just means that I think Atlanta can probably stick around and within that number. However, I haven't played anything, but those are the ones I'm watching. And the other one is I thought was interesting is, Golden State's a better team than Minnesota, and I get all that. And it was a pick 'em, and I think Golden State's -1 now or something. But I'm going to watch that number too because Golden State didn't play well the last time they played.
In college, again, what I try to do is, we get these numbers as you're watching the games last night. We're already on to the next card. And I do what I like to say is by the end of the night, take a snapshot and the opening numbers. And me and Scotty had a great conversation yesterday about respecting the opening number. And I do a lot of talking about respecting the opening number. The hardest part, and as I explained to him, is, when you see a big overnight movement, now, do you respect the opening number, or does the overnight correction and the sharp play come into play? So it's kind of a give and take situation. As I talked about yesterday, I really the game that stuck out like a sore thumb was San Diego State -1.5 at Wyoming. It just stuck out like, wow, I really respected the opening number there. I did, and it does come through. And then I used the Syracuse number at 7.5 that went to 8.5. We played it at 9 or suggested it at 9. Again, where Vegas is trying to grab as much UNC money as it can. So anyone that got the UNC plus -7.5, -8, -8.5 actually did cash. So last night, when we shut her down, the two games that stuck out to me for the respect the opening number. The first one I said was Oklahoma, and that was 5.5 against West Virginia. I really thought that these are two teams that are floundering, that they can't win 2 in a row, that have had real bad seasons. Yet Oklahoma opened at 5.5 and now is down to 5 in some spots. The second game is, I think, the game of the night. Purdue, Wisconsin winner will most likely win the Big Ten. ECSI 3.5 weeks ago bought Wisconsin plus 300 to win the Big Ten. Purdue opened up 2.5-point favorites at Wisconsin, which just doesn't happen. So as much as I'm holding that Wisconsin plus 300 ticket, it opened my eyes to say, holy moly, respect the opening number. So currently I respect the Purdue -2.5 opening number. And I thought the stench of the night to start the day was Florida at Vanderbilt at a pick'em. Florida -1. Again, I think they were most likely going to attract a lot of Florida money. I'm seeing 63% of the bets already on Florida, about a 50-50 split on the money, and it's at a pick'em. So the three games overnight that really caught my eye: Oklahoma -5.5, now 5. Purdue -2.5, which if we were to play, I would strongly suggest the money line like you did in San Diego State last night. And then the stench of the night so far would be Vanderbilt right now at a pick, or if you could get them +1. Just quickly going over this board, you can grab a Michigan State plus a 4.5. The Michigan team that got a reality slap on Sunday versus at home versus Illinois. Illinois kind of boxed a wire there. Now Michigan gained 3 without Juwan Howard there. Now that Purdue game is up to 3, and wow, that is an eye opener there for sure. Great game at 11 o'clock. Get your Red Bulls and coffee. Arizona travels to USC. Again, this number I thought would be attracting a lot of Arizona money. Arizona opens up at 4.5, still 4.5, but it's USC attracting 69% of the tickets, 64% of the money. We got a lot of small conference tournaments starting. We'll be doing a lot of work the rest of this morning and this afternoon on that. Make sure you come and watch us at 4:30. Hopefully, you have some information on these games. And to the pucks. Now, I'm just trying to do this in my head here. All of a sudden, this New Jersey Devil team is like lights out. They're just on fire. But if my memory serves me correct, Thursday they played, Friday they played, Sunday they played. They played last night. So this would be their fifth game. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, in 6 days. I'm going to go back and look at that. They opened up plus 130, now plus 104. I'm going to really double check on that one. Edmonton opens up minus 165 in Philly. Minnesota, Calgary, probably the game of the night. Calgary, Minnesota opens up minus 115. Now Calgary minus 115. So keep an eye on Calgary right now. Rotation number 51 minus 115. Montreal, I think, was won 5 in a row. Right now, plus 195 at Winnipeg. The Islanders plus 235 of Colorado minus 290. There. San Jose at Vegas. Vegas opens up minus 235. And the Bruins now winners of 5 in a row. A big win with them at the Kings last night. Now minus 200. They opened up at Anaheim. Now minus 181. Wouldn't suggest the 181. Obviously would have to get into the puck line if we were going to play that, or first period or regulation time there. But that's a quick look at the board. Scotty, closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts is that I am extremely positive about where baseball sits right this second to a deal being done. And that means my work will triple to quadruple here over the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks. And we can do some baseball shows, which I will be extremely excited about.
Yeah, I'm chomping at the bit, as I've explained to anyone that wanted to listen, and we've talked endless. Our goal would be to break down a division a day, and then what we could do is have a MLB preview where we could have division winners, some MVP talk, so whatever, home run kings, something like that. Maybe a little future talk on potential division winners, who we expect to come out of the AL, NL, and then potential World Series. And again, the hard part about that is a lot of people don't like to tie up their money, for 6 months at a time. For me, when I go to Vegas on the 15th, I'll be spending a lot of time at the Circa. So you're able to take one sport at a time and put together those funky 4 or 5 team parlays at plus 10, 15, 20,000 to 1, where you got the major league, you got the AL winner on one ticket with the NBA winner, with the Masters winner. And it's just fun little stuff. And if you get 3 out of the 4 legs, you actually make money. Prop swap, if you got 3 for 3, you can throw it out there and make a ton of money on the rebound with a potential edge there as well. Just fun stuff, Scotty.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think what the biggest thing about understanding futures is that futures gives you flexibility down the road to do whatever you want and guarantee a spot where you're going to make some money for the most part. So in a lot of ways, I get it that people say I don't want to put my money in there and tie it up, but that's not the purpose. The purpose isn't to tie up your money. The purpose is to give you flexibility for the money that you have that's coming up. If you're in August or September and you got tickets in your hand on certain things that look pretty damn good, that gives you the freedoms to bet some other things that look pretty good. And then all of a sudden now you got 3 or 4 really good tickets that are getting ready to close out. And you're getting ready to go into the playoffs and a playoff run and a World Series run where you can take some more shots. But if you don't have any of the tickets, then you don't have any flexibility. You're just starting over, and you're also getting bad numbers. So I guess the best way to say it is you build flexibility and opportunity based on having something that you've already done that's in the future that's obviously coming through. If you bet on, if you bet on the Pittsburgh Pirates to win the division or something like that, I mean, then you got dead tickets. But if you did something smart, then the point of the matter is that you're going to be in a spot where, holy crap, you're in pretty good spots. So you can hedge against the ticket, you can add more to it, you can do all kinds of different things, but you don't have any of those opportunities if you don't do it.
No, and that's what we did in college hoops. We kind of dabbled throughout the season. I have a preseason UConn at 100-1. We got Auburn at 18-1 a week before they became number one at one point in the season. We got Arizona at 17-1. We got Texas Tech at 30-1. And what that does is, listen, it gives us, as you said, flexibility. It gives us opportunity. Our main goal is, hey, can we get to the Sweet 16? Can we get a couple of these teams to the Elite Eight? Maybe one of them to the Final Four. It gives us hedge opportunities. It gives us opportunities in certain games where we might be able to get our team through and also have a ticket on the other side that didn't win, but they covered. And flexibility and opportunity is the key. Now, I have said all along, the Zags are going to have to beat me. I'm not going to buy into the Duke run. I mean, it's Coach K's last hurrah. Do I expect them to get a deep run? Probably. I do, but I don't have a ticket. I miss the Kentucky Wildcats. I don't have any Nova shares. There's a bunch of teams I don't have. I don't have Baylor. But again, we just picked our spots. We have some flexibility. And, if we catch someone late, maybe one more ticket before the conference tournament start, we're okay going in. But if you don't dabble, then you don't have these opportunities, Scott.
Yeah, that's the point. I mean, the point of futures is obviously to put yourself in a position to win those bets. I mean, you're not making bets you don't want to win, but at the same time that you're making these bets that provide opportunity to make other bets to either compound what you did or give you flexibility to get out of what you did. So these are not final bets when you make them. I mean, I certainly, if you bet on Kentucky or something in basketball, for example, and okay, you're in a spot where you're not going to win that or something, that allows you to make another bet that you could win, which then simply makes that one go away. And that covers what you're doing. Or you make several other bets throughout the season and you win those bets based off of what you have on your hand already. And you cover that and it goes away. So it's not dead money. And you've made the bet, so you hedged against it. You made a couple other wagers because of it's not going to come through. And all of a sudden now, okay, you've covered that wager. So it's not like you're dead in the water with these things, no matter what the scenario is. But it does create opportunity, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking for doors that come open to give you more flexibility of how to bet and or compound what you've already done so that it becomes a bigger win instead of just a little win. And you can do that with a lot of things. You can do it with team wins too.
Yeah, we in the NFL, our pre-flop was the 49ers NFC champs, the 49ers Super Bowl champs. Throughout the season and especially the playoffs, we grabbed a Chiefs plus 400 and we had a Rams plus 215. So we eventually cashed the Rams plus 215, but obviously our honey hole would have been a 49ers Chiefs Super Bowl. Or even Chiefs Rams Super Bowl, where we would have had a 4-1 and a 2-1. But again, we still at least cashed the ticket, and we had opportunity and hedge possibilities. Where I know some ECSI family that had the Rams plus the 215 on the money line, and they had the Bengals plus the 4.5, and so they cashed both sides. So at least they had the opportunity. They took the swing. They said, hey, you know what? I think the Rams are going to win. I think it's going to be a field goal game. And they won both sides. But without those tickets, you wouldn't have had that opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, 4:30 today. Myself and Scott with the closing bell. Hopefully, we'll have some great news from the MLB. Hopefully, some closure. If not, it should be a lot closer there. A pretty decent board tonight. A lot of stuff to go through. Always, always, always remember this. If you are investing and wagering early today, wager responsibly. If you have a problem, pick up the phone. There's an 800 number available. Ask for help. Why? Because myself and Scott care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month through 2022 and beyond. For myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from Scotty Webb at Webby20 MLB, we wish you a blessed day, and we will see you in a couple hours. Take care.